Today's episode is presented by Vampires of the Velvet Lounge in select theaters March 20th from Strand Releasing. Deep in the American South, a back-alley absinthe bar harbors a deadly secret. Countess Elizabeth Bathory and her glamorous coven of vampires keep their killer instincts sharp by preying on lonely singles through dating apps, seducing and slaughtering to preserve their youth. But when Elizabeth swipes right on the wrong profiles, a cunning undercover vampire hunter and a band of emotionally stunted bros, the hunt spirals into hilariously horrifying chaos. Wrist Cutters, a love story producer Adam Sherman writes and directs this hilarious horror comedy that stars Mina Suvari, Stephen Dorff, Tom Berenger, Rosa Salazar, Tyrese Gibson, Lockman Monroe, and more. Don't miss Vampires of the Velvet Lounge in select theaters March 20th. Tickets on sale now. From the executive producers of Stranger Things comes a series that asks the question, are you sure he's the one? Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen is an atmospheric psychological horror set in the 5 days leading up to an intimate wedding. Starring Camilla Morrone and Adam DeMarco, this isn't just a story about cold feet. It's about the visceral anxiety and mounting terror of realizing you might be marrying the wrong person. As Rachel questions whether Nikki is truly the one, her doubts spiral into something darker, and the show explores the ultimate horror. How can you ever be certain you've made the right choice? It's edgy, and it's not a spoiler if it's in the title. Something very bad is going to happen. The only question is, what is it? Watch Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen on March 26th, only on Netflix.
Warning, the following film is so intense, we are only allowed to advertise it for 15 seconds.
Excuse me?
Zazie Bates, They Will Kill You. Only in theaters March 27th. Rated R.
Welcome to Scare You to Sleep. I'm your host, Shelby Novak, and I'm here to read you a bedtime story. This week we've got another story by returning author to the show, Jon Saks. Before we start the story, though, I really wanted to point you in the direction of Jon's own amazing podcast, SADISTIC. SADISTIC is a cinematic original horror podcast delivering short-form, immersive nightmares for fans of psychological horror, supernatural suspense, sci-fi terror, thriller podcasts, and dark audio drama. Created, written, edited, and produced by Jon Saks, the series blends the atmospheric dread of John Carpenter with the character-driven unease of Stephen King, while carving out a bold voice all its own. From UFO encounters and alien visitations to deep-sea monsters, haunted houses, artificial intelligence gone wrong, unsettling children, folklore, true crime obsession, serial killers, and the quiet horror of everyday life. SADISTIC explores fear in all its forms, cosmic, technological, domestic, and deeply human. While many episodes function as gripping standalone scary stories, an interconnected mythology unfolds beneath the surface. Characters reappear, timelines overlap. Hidden Easter eggs and recurring threads reward attentive listeners, transforming the series into a layered horror universe built for binge listening and fan theories. Elevated by powerful voice performances and meticulous sound design, every episode reflects Jon Saks' boundless love for storytelling and his mission to deliver genuine scares, catharsis, and wicked fun for horror fans everywhere, whether you're searching for new horror podcasts, creepy stories, supernatural thrillers, sci-fi horror, haunted house tales, or interconnected anthology storytelling. Sadistic is waiting for you. So with all that said, tonight Jon has for us Harold Hughes. The most wanted man in America was now number 2. Harold Hughes had been leapfrogged by Justin Vernon. 5 dead teenagers. That was the first year. 11 dead teenagers. That was the second year. 16 all told. Both killing sprees had occurred in the tiny town of Hardinville, both during Labor Day weekend, 1 year after the next. On the third year, when Hardinville shut down and enforced a curfew to keep the residents safe, expecting a return from the maniac in a white mask who had a preference for hammers, he didn't show. For the first time in 3 years, they had been spared. However, one town over, in Westbrook Lake, in his place, 13 teenagers were murdered by Justin Vernon, who had a preference for axes. There was now a nationwide manhunt for 2 serial killers. The residents of both towns were terrified. Some left, the wealthy ones, who could afford to go somewhere else for a while, until the cops or whoever else was in charge found these lunatics so that the citizens could return home safely. Most of them, however, stayed. Most of them couldn't just pack up their entire lives and go somewhere else for an undetermined amount of time. That wasn't an option. Their only real option, in the face of terror, was to wait. Wait and pray that the cops found the killers before killers found them. As Labor Day approached, both towns were on lockdown. The eyes of an entire country were focused on Hardinville and Westbrook Lake. What they didn't know, what nobody knew, was that Harold Hughes was about to reemerge 1,500 miles away, hell-bent on killing the last remaining member of his bloodline, Jamie Hughes. Wisdom, Montana. Population under 100. Not 1,000, 100 total. Federal law enforcement were able to secure a place for Jamie to stay that felt tucked away from the world. Harold would never be able to find her here. Nobody would. Located in southwestern Montana, Beaverhead County, often called the Valley of 10,000 Haystacks. U.S. Route 43 runs through town, but it's still far from any major city. Having seen her boyfriend and best friends murdered at the hands of Harold Hughes, Jamie was determined to keep living, even if it meant starting a new life in one of the coldest places in the continental United States. Winters were harsh. Temperatures can reach as low as -40 degrees. Locals pride themselves on resilience. Their ability to persevere through long, bitter winters is seen as a badge of honor, one that each of them wear proudly. Life revolves around cattle ranching and hay farming, 2 things Jamie never thought she would do, let alone adapt as a lifestyle. But this would have to do, at least until Harold Hughes was found and killed. The closest big town was Dillon, Montana, 60 miles southeast. Wisdom is surrounded by vast ranch lands and mountains. Most of the residents were older. Jamie was the youngest adult in town, a town that had a very low number of businesses. Grocery store, service station, post office, forest service office, small school that taught kindergarten through 8th grade, Hook and Horn Trading Post, a shop on Highway 83 that functions as a coffee shop, espresso shop, gift shop, sporting goods store that also sells fishing and hunting licenses. Beyond that, nothing. Nothing except for the peace of mind that Harold Hughes would never be able to find her. There was only one person who knew Jamie's location: Deputy Agent Ed Elba. Anyone else was putting their life in danger, because Harold Hughes would stop at nothing to find his sister. He knew how she liked it. Her coffee. Federal Agent Elba was beginning to know everything about Jamie. For the past month, he was the only person who knew her at all. He knew the tragic tale that was her life, who she was before she arrived in Wisdom. Everyone else thought Jamie was just a girl who dropped out of high school because she wanted a change of pace. Her cover story was that she grew up in a broken home in West Virginia. She came here looking for a fresh start. The air, she would tell everyone. The air here felt fresh. They appreciated her appreciation. Lucy, she told them. That was her new name. It suits you, Elba told her. Nice name for a nice. It was happening again. A naturally flowing conversation that hit a wall of silence. This was dangerous. These are the moments when feelings fill the air, when eyes lock and the truth begins to pour out like sweat on a midsummer day. Elba was asking Jamie how she was adapting to ranch life. She was growing to like it, she told him. There was something so tranquil about working off the land. Mowing, raking, baling hay. Yesterday she had driven the tractor by herself. Today she would be moving hay wagons, helping to irrigate pastures, maintaining equipment, checking that hay bales are stacking safely. Check it out, Jamie said. She was showing him how smooth she could spin her Swiss Army knife around in her hand until the blade shone. Not bad, huh? She told him, smiling. Not bad, Elba confirmed. Where'd you learn that? Oh, us ranchers learn all kind of useful things on the land. But you wouldn't know nothing about that, would you, city boy? She was doing it again, Elba thought. That thing she does where she says something, smiles, and then I turn into dust. Elba was unable to resist her charm. It was happening. He was falling in love with her. But that wasn't possible. He had a code which had to be followed. Cold front is coming in, Elba told her. Being outside is about to get a whole lot harder, Jamie said, for him. Yeah, Elba said, laughing. That was the effect she had on him, making him forget even the most simple of words. Elba was 25, not much older than Jamie. The feds thought having someone close to her age would help ease her transition. They were right. Jamie was taking quite a shine to him, not only because of his diligence and protective nature, but because he was easy on the eyes. Her eyes. He knew that he couldn't act on anything, even if it was obvious, even if the energy between them sometimes felt so electric that he would pretend that his phone was buzzing, when in fact it was just an excuse to leave the room, so he wouldn't say something stupid something he would regret, something that would put their relationship in jeopardy, something that would put her in danger. Her safety was his top priority. Every other morning, they would get coffee together, and today was no exception. The exception was that during their moment of silence, rather than pretending to leave because of his phone, today, he didn't have to pretend. He was getting a call. 1 second, he told her. She waited patiently for him to return. Jamie was beginning to catch feelings. The last person she had feelings for was dead, murdered in brutal fashion by Harold Hughes. His body had been stabbed repeatedly and hung up like a deer head in the living room of Jamie's childhood home. On the other end was Elba's supervisor, Chief Deputy Carroll. "Hey, Chief." At first, Elba didn't hear anything. He looked at his phone for a moment and then pressed it back up against his ear, and once again he said it. "Hey, Chief, can you hear me?" There was nothing on the other end, just silence. Until breathing. Heavy, dense breathing. "Chief, you okay?" The breathing got more rough. It seemed to somehow stretch and ooze through the phone. Elba had to put it away from his ear, just to give his skin some distance. Even as he held it out, he could still hear it. The breathing. This was definitely not Chief Deputy Carroll. He turned it off. "Everything okay?" Jamie asked. She could tell something was off. Elba never seemed rattled. It's one of the reasons she felt so close to him. He was poised, strong, ready for a fight. She needed that right now. Hopefully not forever, but for now, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Elba took one sip of his coffee and told her, "I think we should go." The cold front was brutal. As soon as they stepped outside, their cheeks felt as if they were being pulled apart from the inside. The wind howled across the desolate tiny edge of town, while Elba and Jamie got into his car. Flakes were beginning to drift from the gray clouds. "What's wrong, Elba? Talk to me." Elba had his key in the ignition as Jamie buckled into the passenger seat. "Nothing," he told her. "I just want to beat the snow. The weather is no joke." "I thought the snow wasn't coming until tomorrow," Jamie asked, while peering up through the windshield toward the sky. "Never trust the weather. It'll rain all over you." "Ha ha," Jamie said mockingly, as she smiled from ear to ear. Elba's old-school comedic sensibilities and corny humor was another thing she found very charming about him. "You gotta be kidding me," he said, as the engine revved and ramped toward no start in sight. "You said this was a new car. What gives, Elba? Was that just a lie to make me swoon?" He tried again. This time his smile was on life support. The snow seemed to be picking up. In mere minutes, it had gone from just a hint towards obtrusive. Jamie tried peering up again, towards the sky, but most of the windshield was already covered. He tried for a fifth time. Nothing. "I'm just teasing," she said. "Should we ask someone for jumpers?" Elba looked in his rearview mirror. When that didn't work because the back window was now covered in slosh, he saw something out of his side eye. Curtis, the owner of Hook and Horn. He was flipping the outside sign from open to closed. "Hey, Kurt," Jamie said, after reaching across Elba to roll down his window. "You got jumper cables by any chance?" "Not on me," he said, "which makes me about as useful as a horse with no feet." "She won't start?" "No," Jamie yelled past Elba. I got some back in my garage, if y'all want to lift. We can see about beating the weather, but I think it's gonna be a tight race. Thanks, Kurt, Jamie yelled, as her and Elba got out of the car and followed Curtis towards his truck, which was parked across the street. Elba and Jamie's bodies were vibrating, even under the 3 layers of winter gear they had. Curtis, on the other hand, seemed relatively unbothered, even though all he had on was a flannel with jeans. His skin looked like rubber. 7 decades of manual labor through a wide range of seasons will do that to you. Might be a little tight, he told them as he opened up his door. Tight was right. Jamie was nearly sitting on Elba's lap as she got inside, which was not much of a hindrance to her. And it certainly was not to Elba, who had to pretend with all of his might that he was not enjoying this. How's it going over on the ranch, Lucy? Y'all getting the hang of it? Oh, sure, Jamie said. After a second, sometimes the name, Lucy, took a beat before registering that it was, in fact, her name now. At least for the moment. Yeah, each day is a little easier. That's the nice thing about life, ain't it? Each day, a little easier. Well, not for everyone, I suppose. Kurt turned to Elba and gave him a once-over, as the pounding windshield wipers whooshed and whomped across his windshield. How about you, friend? What do you think about our tiny town? She treating you all right? Yeah, Elba said. The air feels fresh. Jamie smiled. They both did, knowing that he had stolen that compliment from her. It was an easy way to get the locals on your side, talking about the pure air. That it does, friend, that it does. I'm Kurt. I've seen you a time or two. Never had the proper how do you do. Yes, Elba said, almost robotically. I've seen you too. I'm... Elba's improvisation skills were lacking, and Jamie saw this as a golden opportunity to have a little fun. Something which was in short supply these days. So she swooped in to offer Elba a name he would have to abide by. Buck, Jamie said. This is my cousin, Buck. How do you do, Buck? Kurt said. I got a dog named Buck. Your mama was a smart woman, I bet. Before unleashing his mismatched smile. Elba just nodded while lightly ribbing Jamie as they were locking eyes. Something else was grabbing the reins of Kurt's attention. Well, would you look at that? The car was slowing down. Kurt lowered his window to get a cleaner look. Elba and Jamie's eyes had to squint through the stampeding snow to see what Kurt was looking at. Someone broke into Gus's place. Gus's place, a.k.a. Pioneer Guns, Mountain Guns, and Pawn. As with most everything in Wisdom, Montana, it was small but serviceable. No muss, no fuss, as the locals enjoyed expressing. The glass around the handle had been shattered. Of course, Jamie thought, guns. Y'all wait here for a moment, Kurt said, while reaching under his seat to grab a pistol. Kurt! Jamie nearly screamed. What are you doing with that? Easy does it, Lucy. I'm just gonna give a gander. Gus is a friend of mine. Kind of neighbor I'd be if I don't at least glance at it. Elba had to swivel away from Jamie in order to get a grip on his own government-issued Glock, which was in the back of his jeans, holstered in leather. Kurt, he told him with a brimming urgency, let me go in first. Oh my, Kurt said, admiring Elba's gun. That a Glock? It is, sir, Elba told him. It's a real pretty gun you got there. You must be a city boy. When Kurt smiled, the brown and yellow edges of his teeth became more pronounced. Residue from the nicotine dip poked their brown heads up from the tips of his receding gums. "All right then, city boy, how about we go in at the same time? Arm to arm, so to speak." "Sounds good," Elba told him. "Really?" Jamie asked. "Maybe we should call for backup." "Heck," Kurt said, starting to get unbuckled. "Between me and my city boy, the odds are in our favor. You just hang tight, Lucy. Keep it warm for me." Elba was getting out. The wind was firing and packets of snow right into Jamie's eyes. "Don't be stupid, Elba," she told him. "Never too late to start being smart." "I'll try," he said, closing the door with a hint of a smile. Jamie had to sit and watch. Her vision was being disrupted by multiple factors. The pounding snow, the slow as snails windshield wipers that seemed to make the glass dirtier with every new whomp across. And there was the heat, which was beginning to fog up Kurt's truck. It was the holy trinity of an obscured view. Unless Jamie got out of the car, all she could really see in front of her was sprinkles of the store front door. The changing of colors indicated that Kurt and Elba were now inside. She turned around. There were no rear wipers. All Jamie saw was dirt. Kurt might as well have boarded up the back of his truck. Would have looked just the same. Jamie tried turning on the radio. Static. Apropos, Jamie thought. White static to go along perfectly with the white snow. All of her senses started to merge together. She tried squinting again, toward the store front door. It was so hard to see anything that she even contemplated rolling down the window for a moment, just to get a glimpse. As soon as she did, the wind caught her eye. It was blistering. Her face nearly swelled up from the 2 seconds of exposure, so she quickly rolled it right back up. The cold was bad, but the silence was even worse. It's why she worked from morning till night. It kept her mind occupied. At night, when it was just her, the horror would come crawling back like an endless snake. She could see him. Harold Hughes. That first Labor Day, 2 years ago, when he showed up to her home and killed her 2 best friends. And then the next year, when he came back even more savage. The carnage he caused. That night in the hospital when she was the lone survivor. It's hard for Jamie to close her eyes. Sometimes she'll see it, clear as day. Harold, trapped in that hospital basement. Jamie had used herself as bait and lured him down there. Once Harold was inside, she trapped him and lit the match. Then she ran outside and watched his face as Harold stood there while the fire engulfed him and everything around him. The smoke turned the black night into ash. As for Harold, she won. That's what she thought. She had to put an end to the horror known as Harold Hughes once and for all, or so she thought. They never found his body. In fact, during the entire fire, as Jamie watched it all burn down, Harold never made a sound. From the executive producers of Stranger Things comes a series that asks the question, are you sure he's the one? Something very bad is going to happen is an atmospheric psychological horror set in the 5 days leading up to an intimate wedding. Starring Camilla Morrone and Adam DeMarco, this isn't just a story about cold feet. It's about the visceral anxiety and mounting terror of realizing you might be marrying the wrong person. As Rachel questions whether Nikki is truly the one, her doubts spiral into something darker, and the show explores the ultimate horror. How can you ever be certain you've made the right choice? It's edgy, and it's not a spoiler if it's in the title. Something very bad is going to happen. The only question is, what is it? Watch Something Very Bad is Going to Happen on March 26th, only on Netflix.
Warning, the following film is so intense. We are only allowed to advertise it for 15 seconds.
Excuse me?
Zazie Bates. They Will Kill You. Only in theaters March 27th. Rated R.
It had been nearly 10 minutes of Jamie, sitting alone in this old beat-up truck that looked and sounded as if it was on its last legs. Legs that were made of glass. Legs that sounded as if they were being tightened from all angles by screws that were angry. The wind was screaming. At one point, Jamie felt as if the right side of the truck shook. Just the right side. And only for a second. That couldn't have been real. That must have been her mind playing tricks on her. This had been her life for the past 13 months, wondering if her mind was split, reality and paranoia. Who can you trust when you can't trust yourself? Elba, she would tell herself. Trust him for help. She checked her watch again. 15 minutes. Something was wrong. Something had to be wrong. Elba would have come back out by now. His whole life for the past month had been her, protecting her, looking out for her. Why was he still inside? At least pop out for a wave, an acknowledgement that she was there, waiting. She knew. It had to be bad. So, she did the only thing she could do. The one thing she had been told not to do. She opened her door and got out. It was the kind of cold that seemed to punish you from the inside first, and then work its way out. How do people do it? Jamie would wonder. How do they live here? Solitude in the open sky was a beautiful romantic notion that she could get behind, but when it's this cold, how can you appreciate those things? How can you do anything? Jamie was protecting her face from the howling wind and buckets of snow as she stomped towards the front door, which held out its ominous arms through the glass that had been smashed. The opening was small, just enough for a hand to reach inside and step in. Hello? Jamie said that 3 times as soon as her feet hit the concrete store floor. It was dark. The natural light shining through from the outside provided hints of a compass for her to follow. Locked display cases for firearms and accessories, shelving for ammo, safety gear, cleaning kits, magazines, holsters, optics, a counter pawn desk for valuations, loans, and paperwork, etc. Secure storage vault area for high-value items. It had a functional utilitarian feel, more about security, organization, and compliance than to be a retail showpiece. There also seemed to be a back office, tucked away in the corner. When Jamie saw that, she unloaded about 5 more "hello?" that were left to dance alone in the dark. The door was open. She turned around to look at the world from inside the store. The snow was piling up quickly. Those roads would not be hospitable for much longer. Whatever Elba and Kurt had found back there was going to be just like everything else at the moment. Bad. Jamie opened the door and saw nothing. The lights didn't work because of course they didn't. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. A few loose papers, but it wasn't any more disheveled or ominous than any other tiny back office. Jamie stepped out back into the main space. That was it, she thought. There was nowhere else for them to be. It was as if they had vanished. Screw it, Jamie thought. She might as well take advantage of the situation. She cracked open a display case and took one of the pistols, along with approximately 6 bullets. Gus, the owner, can bill her in the morning. Or at least until... Kurt was in the car. Visibility was limited just like everything else, but she could see well enough to know that Kurt was sitting back in the driver's seat. She lifted up her coat collar an extra half-inch to brace for the 5-foot walk back into his beat-up truck. When she opened the door and got in, she noticed something right away. Space. Elba was not inside. Where's... It took a second to remember his fake name. Buck, she said finally. Where's Buck? There was no response from Kurt. All she heard was breathing. Dense, heavy breathing. Her coat was starting to soak. She couldn't tell where the sweat started and the snowflakes stopped. Kurt's hand put the truck in motion and they started to drive away. Where are you going? Jamie said. We can't leave him. Kurt didn't budge. From her vantage point, he didn't blink. All he did was breathe. His eyes never wavered from the road. Jamie tried to open the door. As soon as it opened, Kurt began to speed away. The jolt sent Jamie's head into a whiplash. When she reached back out to open the door fully, she felt a hand grab her own. Kurt was squeezing. His grip was made of steel. She screamed in agony when she turned back around towards him. She swung with all of her might at his face, using her one free hand. What happened next was the poster child of nightmares. Kurt's face. It fell off. The skin of Kurt's face had been thinly sliced like deli meat and placed on top of another face, the face belonging to Harold Hughes. Jamie froze. The pain in her hand no longer mattered. He could have ripped her hand clean off and she wouldn't have blinked. All that she felt was what sat next to her. It was him. He had found her. The beast, the one who makes the shadows hide. Harold, she whispered. His face was covered in the blood of another man. But the complexities and contradictions of his own face were still evident. The way that his black eyes curved up. The right eye, the one closest to her, was nearly shut. His nose was almost flat. That's why his breaths seemed to explode out of his nostrils like hellfire. His mouth was small and triangular. His hair was white and stringy. She could barely see the driver's side window behind him. His body seemed to expand as he turned towards her, slowly. The car continued to speed through the empty, slippery streets. Why hadn't he killed her? Where was he taking her? What did he want? These were some of the questions fighting for attention inside of the mind of Jamie. The mind, which now had to reset back into terror, right as it was beginning to see the light of day. Harold, she whispered for a second time. I know you can hear me. As those words left her lips, something seemed to shift in the air. It was as if the sounds of the world were turned down, just as his grip started to soften, and her hand became her own again. She took out her gun and unloaded the full clip. The car swung wildly to the left and smashed right into a telephone pole. The engine collapsed. The horn was blaring. Glass was everywhere along with blood. Jamie kicked open her door and lunged out onto the white curtain road. She grabbed her neck in pain as she stood up, looking inside, holding out her gun towards Harold. He was still, hunched over the wheel as the horn continued to yell. His face was aimed right at her. All she could see was the hint of his right eye, the one that was nearly shut. She took one step forward and pulled the trigger. Nothing but air. The clip was empty. Jamie dropped the gun and started to run. She was about halfway down the block when she stopped. Jamie turned back towards Kurt's truck, what was left of it. Her body was running on empty fumes, shivering so hard that her breathing became sparse. She could barely feel her toes. Although she could barely see the truck, she could still hear the horn. The sound was guiding her closer, she thought. She took out her Swiss Army knife, the one she had used to make Elba smile. She held it with her one good hand, the hand that Harold had not nearly ripped off. Closer, she thought. It was right there. The horn was so loud that it meant Kurt's truck had to be within 10 feet, maybe less. And then it stopped. So did Jamie. She braved the impending blizzard and sloshed forward until she could see the truck, the empty truck. The world went quiet again, until she felt a hand on her shoulder. Jamie whipped up her Swiss Army knife and struck down. Ow! Jamie's eyes ballooned. Elba? She knelt down as he fell to the snow-capped street and held his hand in agony. You stabbed me, he shouted. You snuck up on me, she shouted back. His eyes were half shut from dried blood that had flown from his forehead. He was trying desperately to take it out, but the fierce cold was making his good hand shake. On 3. Ready? Jamie told him. On 3 what? He said back. Jamie didn't wait till 3. She pulled. Oh, Jesus, Jamie. What happened to 3? 0 was quicker, she told him, while wrapping her scarf around his bloody hand. She used her legs to spring his body upright. We gotta go, he said. We gotta go. As he started to walk away, he saw that she had not moved. Jamie, we gotta go, come on. Go where? She asked, calmly. To get help, to get safe, he shouted, as words lost shape from a numb face. Help. Safety. That's why I came here. And he still found me. No more running. Jamie walked over to Kurt's truck, sat in the driver's side seat, opened up the glove box, and took out a pack of smokes. Kurt's pack of smokes. You can't be serious, Jamie. Come on. He killed Kurt. He nearly killed me. We gotta go before he comes back. No, Jamie said, her face lit up by the warm, comforting cigarette. Don't you get it, Elba? He needs to do it. He needs to end my life. So, one of 2 things is gonna happen. 1, I'm gonna freeze to death, waiting for him. 2, he's gonna come back. And I'm gonna show him a couple more tricks I learned with my new knife. Either way, it'll be a great way to kill some time. Elba huddled with Jamie in Kurt's truck. They waited nearly 3 hours for law enforcement to come and drag Jamie away, kicking and screaming. It took 3 agents to get her out of Kurt's truck. Elba had moved on by then. The cold had gotten the best of him. He died in the best way possible, wrapped in the arms of the girl he loved, whom he had sworn to protect. Jamie, on the other hand, was being described as a medical marvel. The doctors were perplexed. How could anyone survive being in the cold for that long? Dr. Gibson, the man who had followed Harold for most of his life, the one who tried to warn everyone about Harold Hughes, but they didn't listen. Just the ranting of a loon, they said back then. Now Dr. Gibson was in the hospital, standing outside of Jamie's room, speaking with the medical staff who treated her. They were explaining what had happened, how it was a miracle she survived. The fact that she's here, Dr. Gibson, the fact that she's alive still, it's almost as if she isn't human. Thanks for listening, and thank you again to my author this week, Jon Saks. I always enjoy Jon's work, and remember to go check out his podcast, SADISTIC. I hope you're enjoying the dulcet tones of my dishwasher, by the way. I'm not going to do much of a ramble this week because guess what? Part 2 of the Q&A comes out on Tuesday, and wow, did I A some Q's. There was even a confession, and I got a little heated about it. It is almost 2 hours long, so I'm going to let you check that out once that is out. And for those of you who are not a part of a Patreon, I asked my Patreon patrons to vote on 3 new topics this year because a couple years ago, for April Fool's Day, which is coming up soon, I did a fun little thing called Shampoo You to Sleep, based on so many people with the joke that they would listen to me read the backs of shampoo bottles if they could, as in, they like my voice that much. So I did one, and some people thought it was weird and hated it, but a lot of people actually really enjoyed it, and I did too, because I love April Fool's Day. I'm not much of a prank person, but I love stuff like this, so I'm going to do another April Fool's Day episode. And if you're a Patreon patron, go ahead over and vote. There are 3 choices. I'm not telling the people what it is. If you're not a Patreon patron, you'll have to find out the day it comes out. So, patreon.com/scareyoutosleep. And for the rest of you, if you have a story you'd like submitted to the show, you can send it to scareyoutosleep@gmail.com. And please put in the subject line whether it's a true story or a fictional story. You can also find me on social media at scareyoutosleep, mostly on Instagram these days. And if you'd like to follow my personal Instagram, you can follow me at Shelby B. Novak. You can also check out my work on 2 other podcasts I do, one being the Bloody Disgusting podcast that I do every week with my co-host Zena Dixon, and you can also check me out on the Lady Killers. Been having so much fun over on the Lady Killers discussing stuff. We just discussed The Menu, which that won't be out for a couple weeks, but man, I love that movie. And I love talking about food. I love doing that here too, so it was such a combination of all of my favorite things. And for Baking Corner this week, I will give you a quick Baking Corner. I did make some cherry almond scones. I didn't have enough cherries, and I was out of almonds, but I was really craving them, and it was late at night. The stores were closed, so I used the little handful of dried cherries I had and some almond extract, and they've turned out fantastic. So go make some scones this week. And you know what I really wanted, though, was some clotted cream. And there is none near me, not even Whole Foods. The Whole Foods near me has it. And so I've thought about making my own. I've never done it before. It seems a little intimidating because you have to cook it for like 20 hours. Some of the recipes were like 14 hours, 20 hours, 12 hours. And so I'm thinking about it. What do you think, listeners in countries that utilize clotted cream more? I've had it before in a jar from World Market. So the little tiny jar. And I've always wanted to try like fresh clotted cream. I guess it's fresh. You do cook it for that. I don't know how you'd describe it, but I'm thinking about doing it at some point. I clearly didn't do it for the scones this time around. I thought about it too late, and I was like, you know what? I bet I could make some clotted cream. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, well, the scones are already made, and I don't have 20 hours to have them just sit around before I try them. So anyway, I'm going to go. As I said, please check out the Q&A coming out Tuesday if you so choose. I can't tell you what to do. But yeah, I get a little heated at one point, give a lot of podcast advice. There are some more personal questions in there. trying to think of what, it was an hour and 45 minutes, so I'm trying to think of what is in there. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. I talk a whole lot. All right, I'm going to go and get some sleep or something. I'm going to go find something to do. What about you? I hope you're having a wonderful weekend, or if you're hearing this on Monday, I hope you're having a wonderful week. And I hope you have a wonderful week for the rest of your week. And that's all. Go get some sleep. Sweet dreams.
Attention passengers, if you can hear me right now, you're actually aboard our spaceship, the STS-45 Cloud Breather. We're a colony ship on a multi-year voyage through uncharted space, just trying to reach our new home, and you're listening to the ship's local station, Deep Space Radio. I bring you interviews.
Hello passengers, it's me, the captain. Captain Donald, that is.
Live event coverage. And even the occasional pirated audio.
So, hey.
Hey, yourself.
And it's a good thing I do, because I get the feeling there's something more to this stretch of uncharted space than meets the eye.
There's a reason you're not supposed to create sentient programs.
It seems this pyramid of metal is acting as a kind of conduit.
Tune in for a new broadcast every weekday morning. Each season brings a new adventure that you can take right alongside us on Discord. So strap in and hold on to something, because I'm Colin Gossel, and this is Deep Space Radio.